Hey everybody, Andrew Morgan here with my good friend Andy Miniker of Iron Core. Andy, we're going to be talking about access control today around AppGate banking. But before we do, tell us a little about your MSP and we'll get right on into it.
Hi, my name is Andy Miniker. I am one of the principal owners of Iron Core. We're an MSP based out of Wisconsin, and our primary vertical is financial institutions, specifically community banks. I've been around doing IT stuff since about 1997, but I've been working in financial services since about 2002.
Very cool. Andy, we were talking offline and I guess I was kind of shocked, but maybe I shouldn't. A regulated industry like bank, one of the most highly regulated, you're finding cyber insurance driving more of your revenue. I'm just being tongue in cheek here, but more of your security revenue actually than the regulations themselves. Fair?
Yeah, very fair. It's the FFIEC guidance is um, very open, and so and it really depends on the examiner in question. So different examiners have different amounts of sophistication with different parts of a banking business, and sometimes if the examiner doesn't understand the technology well, they may not really understand the questions that they're asking or the feedback that they're getting. And so what we found is cyber insurance is very prescriptive. You do this or you don't get this. And so that's been driving the banks to adopt some things like MFA Anywhere and things like that that are becoming really best practice.
Got it. And you mentioned MFA everywhere. We see like, CIS controls, which are, mentioning, hey, MFA everywhere as an example. But again, you're not necessarily seeing it here. One area I want to touch on, Andy, that again, I'm again, scratching my head, but you'll bring it to light is the actual core banking systems themselves. What runs the entire bank? You're mentioning these are legacy systems and MFA can't be enforced. So could you talk about that and how you're using AppGate as this mechanism to really take a legacy application and modernize it?
It is amazing. Much of what we use in banking is 30, 40 years old. It's running on old mini computers like AS400s and things like that. And it's written on technology that just did not have this kind of functionality or even a thought for this kind of functionality. And so what we've done is we've taken AppGate gateways and we've put them between core servers that are running AS400s and the customer, or not the customers, but the end users themselves. And that way we can now bolt on MFA. So they can't even talk to the device until they've MFA'd, they've postured, they've done things like that. So we've now, with the push of a button, basically modernized authentication for a core banking platform, which is the most important application a bank runs, and it's not capable of doing that natively.
Yeah, and if you look at the threat research from like the Verizon data breach report or the CrowdStrike threat report, you always see financial institutions as one of the top targets of threat actors. And from and from a threat, I guess, sorry, I'm drawing from the tactic, right, about credentials being the main way in which and phishing and social engineering. The fact that you can kind of start to target in like down to a MAC address, right, Andy? And is that helping you around things like M365 compromise and things of that nature?
Oh, very much so. We're using AppGate as almost like a CASB, where we're making sure that only things that are proxy through there via conditional access are allowed to access M365 at all. And on top of that, SSO is now allowing us to integrate things, all of our tool sets and many customer tool sets into 365's authentication. And with those tools now, we can make it a CASB for Salesforce. We can make it a CASB for Huntress, for ThreatLocker, for any of the tools that we're allowed to use MFA or SSO with. We can now limit access from the greater internet.
Really cool. Andy, thanks as always for being such a great part of the community, sharing your knowledge and just being so open. It was great to have you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.